Hello everyone, this is HDD Recovery. Today we received this nice little case. This is a Porsche design Lacie hard drive that was purchased at the Apple store, and the customer that brought it in said that one day it was working fine. It has a bunch of her personal pictures, a year's worth of pictures backed up to it, and right now she cannot access the drive anymore because it's not getting recognized. Now let's just break it down into category and try to understand why this had happened to her. Now in order to do that, we need to connect the drive and see what we have that is coming up on the screen, at least in the disk utility, in terms of the hard drive and its accessibility. So I'm just gonna go ahead here and hook this up to my iMac. Okay, I hope you guys heard that stuff, those beeping sounds. Now, if the drive initially is connected through USB or any other type of connection, and it's not spinning up, then there's a problem with the hard drive. Okay, because that's what the hard drives are designed to do. They need to spin. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect this. I already unplugged it, so I'm just gonna disconnect this. Now this is a really nice enclosure, but it's very futuristic looking and matches up great with other Apple products. This is designed by Lacie, great company by the way, but they do not make hard drives. So the hard drive inside of it most likely is made by either Western Digital, Seagate, Samsung, or Toshiba or something, maybe Hitachi even. So let's figure out a way how to get this opened up. There are no bolts, as you can see. Any hardware of any kind on any side. So my guess is that this plastic enclosure slides into this metal overlay casing, and there gotta be some prongs in it. It looks like previous place had already tried to get access to it. So okay, I can see on the side where the connector is, right there, on the sides of them you can see little prongs. So just use something like a flathead screwdriver to jam the prongs in there. Okay, yeah, and it easily comes right out. So you just gotta press up on these prongs and there you go, it just slides out. Okay, so okay, great. So this is a Samsung hard drive inside. Like I said, Lacie does not make hard drives. So what we're gonna do is first of all eliminate the problem of the bridge controller on here. This bridge controller is what connects the output on the USB to your SATA interface on the hard drive. So if there's any problem with the bridge controller, that could potentially be the cause of you not being able to get access to your hard drive. So let's eliminate that problem by getting that hard drive out from this bridge and testing it on something else that we already know that works for sure. So looks like it's got some T8 screws on the back of it. I have a screwdriver here for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and unscrew this real quick. It's just 4 little screws at the back of this thing, and I think there's one more screw that's just securing the bridge near the connection tab so it doesn't wiggle around every time you try to connect it. Yeah, so it's just a one Phillips screw, so just gonna undo that. Yeah, so it's fairly easy to disassemble this thing and get it prepped for testing. This is really nice design, by the way. USB 3 connection, very fast. So that's the bridge that we need to eliminate from the situation. We don't need this to test out the drive and get access to the contents. There are no types of any processors on here that may perform hardware encryption, so we're not going to worry about that. This is not something like a Western Digital passport hard drive. So Samsung. Right, so now that we have the drive out of the enclosure, I'm gonna film it from a different angle. I have a USB caddy that we're just gonna plug this into and see if we can get access to the drive. Okay, so now that we have our caddy all set up and ready to go, we're just gonna pop our hard drive in the bait number 2 and power this thing on. Right, so it's making the exact same sound. Usually what that means is that the heads are not allowing the hard drive to spin because they're physically holding the platters, or there is an issue with a bearing or the spindle assembly. Most likely it is not the bearing issue. This kind of thing was very popular with the Toshiba hard drives. This is a Samsung. I have never seen Samsungs fail this way. So I'm gonna place a bet that the heads are actually holding the platters, and I'll explain why this is such a common thing. When the drive is powered off, okay, heads have to rest in a specially designated area. It's called parking ramp. Okay, now that parking ramp is located outside of the platters. All of your data is located on the platters, so when the drive turns on, it waits till it reaches the full speed to create those aerodynamics for heads to be able to float and not skid on the platter. Only then it releases the heads into the platter zone and they start reading your information. Okay, so whenever the drive is off power, those heads have to be on the parking ramp to avoid any friction between heads and the platter. So what can happen is is when your hard drive is off power and you accidentally dropped it on the ground or off the table or something, you know, it just that hard enough so that the hard drive experienced any kind of impact. Now that impact may force the heads to slip off that ramp and land on the platter surface. Okay, so if that happens, those heads will act like brakes on the car. They will jam up the platters. They will not allow them to spin up. Now different hard drives have different friction forces and they hold their platters differently. The more heads that are in the drive, the more difficult it's going to be to release them without having any damage afterwards. So it's a very delicate process. I would strongly advise against trying to get this done at home. This is not something that should be done in regular room conditions. We are using class 100 air environment for this, so that we can open up the drive and avoid contamination getting inside of the drive. So that is a very important factor because any contamination can be crucial, okay, because if the dust gets inside the drive, next time you power it on, most likely it will create damage that cannot be reversed afterwards. So you have to be very careful with this. I would strongly advise against either contacting somebody who is familiar with this, or trying to find somebody locally who provides these services on a significant enough level. They need to have clean room, or they need to have laminar flow bench at least. They need to be able to get this stuff done. A lot of data recovery companies nowadays, they don't provide a full range of services. Maybe they claim they do, but a lot of them actually outsource data to bigger or more qualified companies that are good at this stuff. So I would definitely do your part of the research when you're trying to choose a company to help you out with, because I know the replacement cost on these things, it's not great. I mean, it's $80 to $150. You can buy any external hard drive you want, but what's kept on that drive is important, right? So I mean, sometimes it's irreplaceable, and that's what we trying to do here, and data recovery is our main goal. We don't do anything else. So next step of the process would be to actually physically open up that drive, have a look inside, find out what the issue is, and correct it. Now if it's the platters that are being held by heads, we need to release those heads, park them back into the parking zone, and the issue will be taken care of. We'll need to follow up with the imaging process. That is also a very important step to get proper results. Or if the issue is related to the spindle or the bearing, we move the platters into a donor chassis that has exact same motor and setup and run it that way. So we're just gonna go into a second room here, which is specifically designed for physical recovery that we use, and perform a recovery process on this drive. This is our hard drive. It's secured by 6 screws that we can see, and one is always hidden. This would need to be cut through, so let's just go ahead and open this up. This is a T6 screws that are securing this lid. I'm gonna open it up and have a look what's going on the inside of this drive. Okay, so once we have all 7 screws out, very carefully we're just gonna pry this up on each corner, not in the middle, because the discs are located here, and it's the last thing you want to do is to scratch the drive when you're trying to open it. So this is it. As I said, when the hard drive heads slip out and land on the platter surface, that platter surface automatically gets jammed. So I'm just gonna show you that it's physically not moving. Like, I'm trying to rotate this and it's stuck. It doesn't want to budge. So the process does require a specialized tool to be slipped in between the head and the platter to lift them safely without dragging them across the platters. And that's what we're gonna do next. Since this is a little bit time consuming, we're just gonna skip ahead to a point where the process is done, and we're gonna get back to the recovery station, and we're gonna start accessing this drive and see what we can pull out of it. Now that our hard drive is back together, we're gonna perform imaging of client's data. Now, in order to perform that imaging, we need to hook it up to one of our machines that does that, and see what we're able to get. So this drive wasn't able to spin up previously, and instead of spinning, it was beeping without having any kind of movement on the inside. So right now we're just gonna power it on. So our drive spun up and it's staying in its idle, not clicking, not humming, so that's a really good sign. Over here, if you look, you can see those 2 green lights come up. That means the drive is ready, and we need to go into vendor specific utility. So we select Samsung. Automatically it chooses which model and family it belongs to, because our ID is right there. The serial number ending with 1029, that's what been recorded at the beginning of the video, and this is our hard drive, also 1029. So the utility status seems to be great, no errors there. We're just gonna check its reading performance and try to read some data. Like, for example, go into sector number 63, and that's what we have there. Lacie, share, FAT32, that's what we have. Came out of the Lacie, FAT32 filing system, great. So this drive is ready for imaging. So we have already set up the task for it to kind of get it going, and now just to show you the performance of that imaging process, I'm just gonna switch onto the screen of that imaging and run it up. Okay, so this is the drive. So now it's running. Those green blocks that you see, that means the data is being imaged without any problems, any errors. This is the speed that we're working on. Not the ideal speed, but for a drive that was unsealed, it's pretty good. And we're not running into any issues in terms of bad sectors and stuff like that, or inaccessible areas. So that is great. So this drive will be fully recovered once we're done with it. So if you guys have problems with hard drive that needs any sort of assistance, You can send us an email at info@hddrecovery.ca, or you can send a request submission on our website that you see the address for below the screen. Also on our website we have instructions for the shipping if it's not a local hard drive that we need to repair. So you can subscribe to our channel. We will be shooting more of these videos and uploading them constantly. Also, like our Facebook page, you can see the address for that at the bottom of the screen as well. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this. Stay tuned, we'll be back with some more videos.